The Curtis Razor Blades, the backup to the alleged Francis Ngannou I lose my belt to John Jones fight in March.
Also a nickname of Razor, not Razor Blades.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, it's just Razor.
I think they flow together. I think that's important. Even though the nickname is Razor, but it goes with the last name. But also, I was watching a video, old Francis Ngannou tape, back when you said Ngannou, it's Ngannou, and Ngannou.
All right, you're already starting. Okay.
There was an old video.
I know how to turn you down too.
There was a video of one of his old fights, and they were calling him Francis Gano.
Okay.
And it was Joe Rogan and, you know, the usual cast. And just like to see his trend, he had the braids then, that's before he got his haircut. But just to see his transformation from his maybe third or fourth fight when everybody's like, oh, this guy's really talented, to see now that people actually pronounce your name the right way.
I was going to say, is that when you know you make it?
Yeah.
When they finally
They
pronounce your name right?
the right way, exactly. And they know how to say it right,
Right.
you know? And so like it was just really, really cool to see.
All right, I know we're going to talk about. See, I'm not letting you. I know we're going to talk about some of the World Cup that's going on, but I wanted Michigan to beat Ohio State. Okay, I wanted them to win.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect what happened to happen.
I don't think anybody did.
Woman.
I now want Michigan to lose this Saturday.
So you're just a hater.
I'm not a hater. I want
Ohio State
no.
back in the mix.
What do they do? Do you now kick Michigan out and
Yeah.
move Ohio State up, even though Michigan beat the crap out of Ohio State?
No, there's too many teams that are in the mix. You
No, there's
can't.
really not.
Yeah, there is though.
No.
Okay, right. Okay, so look. So
USC.
I don't know what the BCS, well, not BCS, but whatever the standings are right now, right?
Uh,
Georgia is the
one.
Georgia.
The Georgia should be like in a different stratosphere.
But what
from
happens?
everybody else.
What happens if Georgia loses to a 42-loss team
No, it won't.
Saturday in Atlanta? Of
But
course
USC,
they won't.
But USC could lose.
USC could lose.
They won't. If Georgia loses, I'll put Georgia at 4, and they're still going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have earned that right because everybody else has losses, and Georgia has smashed
Okay.
everyone they've played.
Let's say Georgia goes on.
Yep,
Georgia
they will.
wins.
Georgia's
Okay.
just locked, set and barrel.
Who's three?
Okay, I think TCU is undefeated,
Right.
and they've earned their right.
Okay, let's
Even
say-
though I do think TCU will get smashed when they get to the playoffs.
Sure.
But they've earned the right to be there.
Let's say TCU wins.
TCU's in there. USC has earned the right to be there.
Let's-
and
no, hold
coming
on.
from a Bruin.
I know it's difficult.
It's hard.
It's
But,
hard to say it.
but here's my question.
We'll talk about it.
USC wins.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in. Let's say Michigan loses
Michigan loses.
to an awful team. Purdue, come on.
Hey,
Honestly,
hey.
like I would say maybe depending on where they, because I haven't looked at the standings recently, but depending on them and Ohio State, I can still see them going in because we had a situation.
They have to.
It was in the BCS. I think like LSU lost to Alabama lost to LSU in the
Right.
S championship game, and then they still both
Right,
played
they
in that
still got it,
championship,
right,
you know, and
right.
they ended up winning the game. So I think it's one of those teams where it's like, hey, like since we are picking based on what we see and what we know, like you have to get the best 4 teams, and I think those 4 teams are the best 4 teams in the league. Because like if the Ohio State Michigan game was closer, if Ohio State put up more of a fight than they did,
I understand.
I would be all okay for flipping the teams, but it got really, really bad late, you know.
Ohio State lost. They shouldn't be in. TCU.
They got beat down.
TCU, if they win, has to stay there.
They have to stay there.
Okay.
Even though I don't think they're better than Ohio State.
Oh, they're not.
They're not.
No,
But
they're not.
They earned the right.
But then why play all these games?
I guess that's what I mean. That's
And
what
you're
I said. They earned
agreeing.
it.
No,
I agree with you.
No, you're
Yes,
agreeing
they
with
earned
me.
it.
I'm saying. So TCU is not better than Ohio State.
No.
I get that. Georgia wins. We'll skip number 2 for now. Number 3 is TCU. They win. So they're in. You can't move them down to a team that
Yeah.
got beat down.
I'll probably keep TCU at 4 and put USC at 3.
I'm saying what happens if, and it won't happen. I
Yeah.
understand that. Mike
Yeah.
Allstott's not playing at Purdue.
Yeah.
So they're not. Purdue has a better. Well, you have a better chance of beating David Vieira than Purdue beating
If
Michigan.
Purdue beats Michigan, Michigan's number 2 right now. If Purdue, that's what I.
They got to drop. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to 3.
So they dropped
It was
it-
3 and 2, so they went up.
Right.
Right. So,
Right.
if they
Can't
do beat
move
Purdue,
Ohio State over
no,
Michigan.
No, you can't.
You can't.
So I put Michigan at 4. I put Michigan at 4 because I know what they showed me against the second best team in the country.
Amazing.
It was phenomenal. I didn't see it coming. I did not see. I thought Ohio State was going to pull away late. I thought it'd be a closer game, and the way they beat those guys down. And also, when did college football? And I'm going to sound like a fuck. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm going to sound like an old man right now, because When did college players not understand that penalties hurt your team? Like, you got dudes. Randy is showing me the fine I have to pay for almost saying a bad word. But when did college players not understand that, like, I can't headbutt a guy on the other team on the sideline 7 yards into the boundary? I can't throw footballs at the head coach's head. Like, well, I don't understand this.
When pro players learn that, maybe college players will learn it.
No,
Because pro players do it too.
No, pro players, but again, in the pros, I know everything I do is finable.
Right.
So if I wear my socks the wrong way, it's $10,000.
Right.
In college, it's like,
the wrong
dude, what
word
are
is
you
$100,000.
doing? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, dude, like, I don't understand. Like, there were so many stupid penalties, and I'm sitting here like, you are killing your team.
Is there not code reds in college football?
Code red.
So you didn't see that movie? A Few Good Men?
You can't handle the truth.
You know, code red, where they beat you down and all that stuff. They don't do that in the locker room?
They're gonna run you into the dirt. I know those kids who played for Michigan State when there was the Michigan State-Michigan fight.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Those kids who played on that team, I will bet you every money in my bank account, those kids are running 20 100-yard dashes.
I don't think that's their biggest problem.
110s at 4 in the morning for the last 2 weeks.
I believe one was arranged in court. I think it was yesterday or today.
Okay, I'm not gonna go that far because like it is you're a football player and we don't like that's just and even though it was outside of the game. It was outside of the game. It was in the locker room. Yes, but also it's a rivalry. Blood goes high. Let those guys serve their punishment. And it was stupid, and I don't agree with it at all.
Right. I understand that.
But I've also been in a rivalry situation where I came from Texas, Nigeria and Texas, and went to USC, went to UCLA.
There's the Texas and Nigeria?
You know what I mean. And went to UCLA, and the USC game, everybody was getting hyped up, and I was just like, I don't see the big deal. It's just another game. And when I got in the atmosphere,
of course,
I got kicked out of my first game. I got in a fight. You know, so it's just I understand, but like it's not okay.
Here's where and again, I've never been on a football field, all that stuff, but here's where I'm going to disagree.
You've been at war.
No, but not
You've been at war.
No,
You've been in the military.
No, he washed
We're
the
talking
boat.
about football
He
here.
was like a Navy boat washer guy.
He was at Pearl Harbor.
No, not Pearl Harbor. God. No, he went to the Pearl Jam concert.
Oh my God! This show has gone. This team has gone into the dumper. What I was starting to say before I was rudely interrupted. If it happens on the field,
Yeah.
it's still wrong, but I get it.
Yeah, I agree.
This wasn't on the field.
It
This was
wasn't.
in the
No, this
runway,
was
and,
wrong.
Criminal
And-
act.
and
Criminal act.
it was a criminal act.
It was. It was. And I just hate to. As a young kid, I understand like how mistakes can be made. These kids are 18, 19 years old. Like you're a child.
Wasn't that?
But you still know better.
You do know better. You do know better. But it's like I want people to be able to make mistakes at that age, as long as you're not murdering people and like come away from it. They should get the utmost punishment. If they get kicked out of their school, that's fine. But like when it becomes law and like you're putting kids in jail and things like that becomes a whole different thing.
Well,
I don't want to see that.
I get it.
Well,
As
didn't we
wrong
see-
as they are.
Didn't that happen in Colorado? Wasn't it when that Todd Bertuzzi like slammed Steve Moore to the ground on the ice and like like it was a deliberate act, but they made it criminal, even though it was in the game of play. Like I think.
I remember a couple of them, but it never went.
I didn't
I
know
thought
about
it
that
never
at all.
went to it because it was on the ice. It was in the middle of the game. It was, what happens there happens there. Even if you do step over the line, suspensions, fines,
But he
whatever.
was skating away. There was no play. Play was whistled at, and he went and attacked him on the ice while the game was going on. So, but I think they took it criminal. I think it went outside of the NHL and
Nothing
the
happened
league.
to Adam Sandler when he took his skate off and sliced the guy in the head either. So
That's true.
Is that from a movie too?
yeah,
Probably. We don't have
I'm
time to
thinking
watch
about-
movies. We're out like living life. Chasing
I'm thinking
dreams.
about that guy who sliced the dude's neck when he was skating on the hockey rink.
well,
He almost died.
it just happened in Tampa. Now again, this was an accident.
Yeah.
But he went to cover the puck with his hand, which they do in hockey, and accidentally skated over his hand.
Yeah, no,
And he
I'm
grabbed
not
it, and they all-
I'm not covering the puck.
No.
His fingers are gone. They have to be.
I don't. I think it might have been a little bit higher, but it was bad.
Yeah.
Went to Tampa
I
General
was
right away.
so-
No, it was.
I would assume.
After that, he went straight to the club, though.
Where are we? Don't even look. Don't even laugh. Where are we World Cup wise? What's going
World
on?
Cup wise, okay, so
France got
Argentina. France lost, but it doesn't matter because France has
They had an
next
easy
to
draw.
next to. I'm not gonna call it an easy draw. Next to Brazil, France has been the best team in this World Cup, and Bobby's been playing out of his mind. Argentina, with the win today, guaranteed that they make it to round of 16 after losing to Saudi Arabia. Early on in the game, Messi missed a penalty, which he never does. It's been years since he missed one. And
Did
so
he?
that-
And I don't know if you know because obviously we've been on the air. Did he miss it or was it blocked?
It was blocked.
Okay, all right, that's different. You know,
it
that's
was blocked.
Yeah,
So
you
it's still a
can't.
miss. Yeah, he always scores.
Right.
Always scores those. Like, it's like automatic. But Argentina has found a way, and it's the 76th minute, and they are up 2-0 to Poland. So
they're-
I'm sure Martine is somewhere
Yes.
at home smiling
Yes.
right now because they're going to make it through.
We sent an SOS out for him. I was worried about him in San
I am
Diego.
also smiling because selfishly, he's my favorite player, and I want him to win a World Cup this year. So I'm excited to see him do it. But this World Cup has been insane.
Right.
The competition level, Ghana had a great win. Shout out to
Did you
Jude.
watch the U.S. game?
I didn't watch the U.S. game.
Are you? I'm talking to Apple customer service. I had an issue with my computer.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him, and I'm not a big soccer guy. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's World Cup, it's
Football.
Olympics, whatever.
At least call it what it's called right now. It's football.
Have you seen the commercial?
No.
You haven't seen the commercial? It's with Beckham and Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so they go back
How
and forth.
likable is Peyton?
If you knew stories, he's very likable. It took Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. So Peyton Manning was always the square.
Yeah, and then the whole thing when he was throwing footballs at
So the
kids.
kids-
That's probably when I started liking him.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked him as a player.
Right. Oh, of
When
course.
I liked him as a person when I saw that Saturday Night Live. Yeah,
The
it was fun.
monologue. So he gets up to. Do you remember the monologue?
I don't remember the monologue. I remember the skit.
So the monologue, he gets up there and he talks about his family and how successful the family is, and my dad Archie, blah 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 blah. You know, my older brother Cooper, da 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 da. My younger brother Eli, da 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 da. And these are my records. Mom, what a disappointment. It was hilarious, and that's where he started to branch out a little bit. And,
Okay, sidebar. More famous family. The Mannings or
famous
the
or
Longs?
better? Which are we doing?
Better family tree. The Mannings or the Longs?
Manning.
Okay. Okay.
Now, how about Matthews?
the Matthews? That's the third one.
Right.
So Mannings, Longs, and Matthews.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Manning's have.
Better bloodline.
What about the Linnaeus? The Linnaeus, their family tree doesn't have any branches. They're all trunk,
The,
and they're an Indonesian
the Mannings.
tribe from the Homo
The
sapiens.
Mannings will have definitely two. One definite, but two Hall of Famers.
Two Hall of Famers. I think it's definitely is.
See, I don't even know if he's a Hall of Famer. I think
is.
he's going to get
He
in.
is.
I think he'll be it's the
Not,
Hall of
not
Good.
first ballot,
Well, 18.
but he's a Hall of Famer. You stopped Tom Brady from having 10 rings.
Yeah.
There is one family responsible for Tom Brady not having 10 championships.
Well, there's one play that stopped Tom Brady.
Yeah. The
helmet
gum-
catch.
Yeah, the bubble gum.
No,
It
but
don't matter why.
Peyton beat him. Eli
Right.
beat him twice.
Right. Yeah,
Eli
no.
beat him twice.
No.
Stop Tom Brady from being perfect in a season.
But the
me-
I don't know Matthews. I don't know.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I don't know.
They're awesome.
They are awesome. They are. But like I told Warren Sapp, don't ever tell me somebody without a gold jacket is better than somebody with a gold jacket.
Yeah.
You know, as people argue the line of top whatever of Buccaneers,
Yeah.
and they have Sapp at 9. And I tell them they're the biggest morons
Yeah, no,
to ever
it's
walk
foolishness.
the right.
It's foolishness.
And if you want to name the other 3 gold jackets ahead of Warren, I can live with it.
Yeah.
And Warren has said it. Warren says that there's 4.
Leroy Silva's not better than Warren Sapp.
But again, a gold jacket,
Great. He's great.
You
He's
can't
great.
argue. But don't tell me, I love Rondé Barber to death. I love Mike Allstott to death.
Yeah.
They're not better than somebody with a gold jacket.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
But Matthews, I don't know. I don't
Matthews
know.
are awesome, man.
You didn't say Matthews, but yeah.
No, that was the third one. I just couldn't think of the name, and I didn't want to have dead air time. But I was actually trained by Bruce. No, the center, the Matthews center. I'm gonna butcher his name right now, but I'm just not gonna say it. But he trained me a few years, taught me how to
Really?
play center. He lives in Houston. I trained with Jake Matthews, who plays left tackle for the Falcons.
Yeah.
His brother played center at A&M, and we all trained together. And like when I tell you, one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. And it was one time because we used to be my coach and we would train in the off season. And I was like, hey, I've been trying to learn how to play center just so I can learn, extend my career, when it comes to it. I was like, do you know anything about center? And he goes, yeah, I know a little bit. and one of the guys who was there was like, he was a all-pro at center for like 4 years. And I was just like, oh, you played every position? He goes, yeah, I did. But the nicest guy, super humble.
But not nearly as
teacher.
impressive a family name as Jackson. Like Michael, Tito,
Lamar.
Action.
Now we see you feed into it. You feed into it.
Yeah, we're going to the top, baby. Get this on Spotify.
To the moon.
If TJ and JJ have kids that go to the NFL, they may be in the discussion.
Yeah. JJ Watt and TJ are trailblazing.
Derek's on the team, but I don't know if he's really in the same conversation.
Yeah,
as the
no,
two.
but still though, to have 3 kids.
Absolutely.
The Jones family, they have 2 NFL players and the best UFC fighter to ever live.
Yeah.
So there's some bloodlines. That's just like, hey.
I don't know if I ever told you the story. So the Bucks are in San Francisco, where they go this week. I think they play the week after. They play the Saints on Monday.
Where are they gonna? Okay, well they'll beat the Saints.
Yeah.
When they go to San Fran, that's a loss.
They're going to win the division at 5-12.
Yeah, they're gonna win like 7 games and go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And have a home playoff game in the first round.
Yeah, for sure. So the Bucks are in San
When
Francisco.
does the division become so bad? This is the same division that had
This year?
Cam Newton MVP, Matt Ryan MVP,
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees MVP, and then all of a sudden now it's like
Yep.
3 wins a team. It's crazy, but sorry to cut you off.
Okay, so the Bucks are in San Francisco, and I might have told you this story. And you know how the players sit in the lobby and they're hanging out and whatever. And Ryan Neese is hanging out with some people sitting around this table, and Cadillac walks by, who just was the Auburn coach, the interim, and no longer. So Cadillac walks by and he goes into the meeting rooms, and later that night he goes, "Hey Ryan, do you know who you were sitting with?" And Ryan's like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's Ronnie Lott." And Ryan goes, "No, it's my dad." And he had no idea that Ronnie Lott was Ryan Neese's dad.
I didn't know that either.
And he was freaking out that Ronnie Lott was there, like, you're sitting with Ronnie Lott. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Ryan, he's still a lot of Pac-12 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw him on the sidelines a lot, and he was always at practice, covering things, and it's interesting.
Really good guy.
Yeah.
Really good guy.
I went to Cabo with Ronnie Lott. Well, we did like an NFL, Mexico thing where we were trying to, push the game forward, and
Right.
it was cool.
All right, we blew through one. Let's hit this break, then we'll come back, maybe talk a little bit about Saturday night, UFC in Orlando. A lot of good stuff still to come with very little time to do it. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone.